Shalom, this is GMS Silent Sit Downs coming back with a lesson. First off and foremost, I want to give all praises, glory, and the highest honor to Yahweh, Bashem Yahushai, Bashem Rakakadash, double honors to the other apostles of Great Millstone, peace and salutations to the elect out there, spreading this word in sincerity and in truth all over the four corners of the earth. God, this is gonna be Hebrew prayer number 25. Okay, purge me with Hyssop prayer. Okay, which this prayer I made today. Brother went to a burial 3 days ago, and the scriptures speak about that on the third day you need to cleanse yourself, or someone needs to cleanse you, actually, with the hyssop branch. Okay, so I decided to make this prayer with it, or to basically translate Psalms 51 and 7, as a prayer with it. To uplift the brother in the spirit, to make him, confident in the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Shai again. Because really, when you become unclean, due some reason, it can be anything, a certain spirit weighs on you, for you knowing that you are unclean. Okay, so I decided to make this prayer. So I went there today, sprinkled the hyssop water on the brother, and put up some prayers, and this was one of the prayers, so I decided to make a lesson about it. So this is it. So it's Psalms 51 and 7. Purge me with hyssop, and I shall be clean. Wash me, and I shall be whiter than snow. Okay, so this is you basically ask the Heavenly Father to cleanse you from all your wickedness, to purge you, which purge, let's go into the word purge. As a matter of fact, purge means to cleanse. So it says purge, to clear a container or space, for example, or something unclean or unwanted. Okay, so physically you are unclean at that moment, because of a burial, or because of having you had sex. Okay, you also unclean when you had sex. When you bust a nut, you are unclean. Or maybe you sat on the couch and then you come to find out the woman was on her period, or is on her period. You unclean until the evening. There are many possibilities, wherein you become unclean, and it gives you a messed up feeling, but you got to stay in the spirit. Okay, so this scripture came to mind, and I decided to make a lesson. So again, purge me with hyssop, so cleanse me, clear me from uncleanness with hyssop. We did that physically. Now this prayer we did with it, to make it, spiritual in itself, together with the act of really purging the brother with hyssop, and asking the Heavenly Father really if he can make it spiritual and help in the process. Okay, so of course we started with Baba Kashai, Yahweh Shem Yahushai, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahushai. Purge me with hyssop, and I shall be clean. Wash me, and I shall be whiter than snow. So what we did was I said the first word, which is Tacha Ta'anya, Tacha Ta'anya. So when I said Tacha Ta'anya, the brother that had to be cleansed repeated after me, Tacha Ta'anya. Then the next word, Ba'azawab. The brother said Ba'azawab. Wa Atahar. Okay, Atahar, which the apostle's name is Tahar, which you can think about when you read this Atahar, just to make me pure, or make me clean. Okay, Takap Sanaya Wa Mashalach Alabayan. Okay, again, Ta'anya Slakya, Ta'anaya Naya, okay, which is me, to make me be purged with hyssop. Ta'anaya Ba'azawab Wa Atahar, Takap Sanaya Wa Mashalach Alabayan. Okay, so let me grab a couple of scriptures. And a good thing to do is also to read Psalms 51 as a whole, which is a beautiful scripture in itself. 51, and where it starts off with also, which is verse 1, to the chief musician, a psalm of David, when Nathan the prophet came unto him after he had gone into Bathsheba. Have mercy upon me, O Yahweh, according to thy loving kindness, according unto the multitude of thy tender mercies, blot out my transgressions. Wash me thoroughly from mine iniquity and cleanse me from my sin. Okay, now to bury a dead body is not a sin, but you become unclean. That's why I picked verse 7. Purge me with hyssop and I shall be clean. Wash me and I shall be whiter than snow. Slakia. Okay, now in the physical form, we do these things, we keep these laws because we want to become clean in the eyes of the Most High. We want to be acceptable in the eyes of the Most High. So what we do is we let me see, Romans 6, we try to please the Most High to the best of our abilities, even though we are under grace. Okay, Romans 6:1. What shall we say then? Shall we continue in sin that grace may abound? Yahweh forbid. How shall we that are dead to sin live any longer therein? Okay, so to not obey the law would be sin. Okay, like it says in 1 John chapter 3, I believe. 1 John chapter 3 verse 4. Whosoever committed sin transgresseth also the law, for sin is the transgression of the law. Now in this case, just to give the brother his situation as an example, the brother became unclean because he went to a burial. Now this is the law concerning a burial and how you have to advance in the next days, after becoming unclean for 7 days. Okay, this is Numbers chapter 19 verse 14. This is the law. When a man dieth in a tent, all that come into the tent and all that is in the tent shall be unclean 7 days. So the man is in the tent, he's dead. You come into the tent, you become unclean. And every open vessel which had no covering bound upon it is unclean. Okay, so what they often do at burials is they give you drinks, food, all those drinks and all that food is unclean. Now I went to a burial in Aruba, which is a Caribbean island, and the spiritual thing is that they give you the food in another room. Okay, they don't give you the food in the same room. They let the food in another room. So after the ceremony or the sermon, like they call it, you go into another room and there you have a shot of liquor, some food or some tea or some coffee. On the Caribbean islands, after burial, people often drink strong drink, and have conversation with each other. Okay, so all those things that are present inside of that building or tent becomes unclean. And whosoever toucheth one that is slain with a sword in the open fields, or a dead body, or a bone of a man, or a grave, shall be unclean 7 days. So if you touch a man that died or is dead, or a bone or a grave, shall be unclean 7 days. And for an unclean person they shall take of the ashes of the burnt heifer of purification for sin, and running water shall be put thereon in a vessel. And a clean person shall take hyssop, and dip it in water, and sprinkle it upon the tent, and upon all the vessels, and upon the persons that were there, and upon him that toucheth the bone, or one slain, or one dead, or a grave. And the clean person shall sprinkle upon the unclean on the 3rd day. So 3 days after that you went to the burial, touched the dead body, or went to a grave, touched the grave, you have to be sprinkled upon with hyssop. Okay, on the 7th day, let me read it again. Verse 19, and the clean person shall sprinkle upon the unclean on the third day, and on the seventh day. So not only the third day, also on the seventh day. So on the day that you went to the burial, 3 days later, okay, and then 1 week later, on the same day that you went to the burial, you purify yourself again by the hands of a brother, okay. And on the seventh day he shall purify himself and wash his clothes and bathe himself in water, and shall be clean at the even. So on the seventh day he needs to be sprinkled upon with hyssop also. So you can buy a hyssop branch. You can buy a hyssop branch. Let me see. You can buy a hyssop branch. Okay. Just a branch like this. But in this case we didn't have that. We didn't have that. So what we did in this case, we had dried hyssop like this. So what I did was I mixed the hyssop in water, and I dipped my fingers in it, and I sprinkled it upon him while I was doing the prayer. Okay, so that's what I did. On the seventh day he shall purify himself and wash his clothes and bathe himself in water, and he shall be clean at even. So on the seventh day I have to go back and help the brother out again. Verse 20, but the man that shall be unclean and shall not purify himself, that soul shall be cut off from among the congregation, because he had defiled the sanctuary of the Lord. The water of separation had not been sprinkled upon him. He is unclean. And it shall be a perpetual statute unto them that sprinkle the water of separation. And it shall be a perpetual statute unto them that he that sprinkleth the water of separation shall wash his clothes, and he that toucheth the water of separation shall be unclean until the even. And whatsoever the unclean person toucheth shall be unclean, and the soul that toucheth it shall be unclean until the even. Okay, so the man that sprinkles the water becomes unclean, and the man, of course, that went to the burial is already unclean. Okay, and everyone that this man touches becomes also unclean. Okay, until the evening. So that is until sundown. So again, we practice these things. We rehearse the righteous acts, like the scripture says in Judges. Let me go real quick. Judges 5 and 11. They that are delivered from the noise of archers in the place of drawing water, there shall they rehearse the righteous acts of the Lord, even the righteous acts towards the inhabitants of the villages in Israel. Then shall the people of the Lord go down to the gates. You see, so in the place of drawing waters, which is where we are right now, our captivity, that is where we rehearse the righteous acts. So we meditate upon the law, statute, commandments of the Heavenly Father, and we try to do them to the best of our abilities to establish, a greater bond with the Heavenly Father. Okay, Romans 3 and 30. Seeing it is one power which shall justify the circumcision by faith and uncircumcision through faith. Do we then make void the law through faith? Yahweh forbid. Yea, we establish the law. Okay, so we still try to keep these things to the best of our ability. Okay, let me see. I think it's second. No, let me see. I think it's verse chapter 4. No, it's chapter 3, I think. This is it. 1 John chapter 3 verse 19. And hereby we know that we are of the truth, and shall assure our hearts before him. Okay, now how do you assure your hearts before him? Let me show you the word assure. The word there is paito. which says to make friends, to win one's favor, gain one's goodwill, or seek to win one, strive to please one. Now, how do you strive to please the Heavenly Father? By having faith. Faith in Yahweh Shem Yahushai, and showing your faith by your works. You know, a man can say, I love, say to his woman, I love you. But if he doesn't show it, or if she doesn't show her husband, then those words don't mean anything. She has to show it by her actions that she loves him, and he by his action that he loves her. Okay? To say doesn't mean, anything if the actions don't add up. You see? So how do we seek to please Yahweh Shem Yahushai? How do we seek to win one's favor? By our works, faith and our works. Okay? So we try to keep the law to the best of our ability. To please Yahweh Shem Yahushai. So again, the prayer, Psalms 51:7. Purge me with hyssop, and I shall be clean. Wash me, and I shall be whiter than snow. Tacha'ata, Tachata, Anaya, Ba'azawap, Wa Atahar, Takap Sanaya, Wa Mashalach, Alabayan. Babakasha, Yahweh Shem Yahushai, Tawada, Yahweh Shem Yahushai. Okay, so with that, I hope it was edifying. On to the next one. Shalom.